Hey guys, welcome back to Hope, Heal, and Shine. This is week 2, which means we are all about hope. I am going to talk about one specific aspect of hope, and that is believing in a higher power that cares for you. So no matter what you believe, this is something that's possible. I know a lot of people, to them, it's the universe, or it is just higher power, or it is God. Whatever it is to you, you need to believe that that is a power that cares about you and wants good things for you in your life. So for me, I believe in God. I believe in Jesus Christ, and I believe that they love me. I believe that they want what's best for me. And in learning and studying about the characteristics of Christ over the past couple of years, it has been so apparent to me that it didn't matter what kind of person he interacted with. He was interested in the one. He was interested in each individual person, no matter what they had done in their life. He loved them and he accepted them and he forgave them when they were sincerely trying to do better with their life. I mean, don't get me wrong, Christ set boundaries and he did not put up with people being disrespectful in the temple and things like that. Christ didn't just let people walk all over him, but he could tell when people were being genuine. He had that level of discernment that he knew their hearts and he gave them a second chance. So looking at that in my own life, it's really helped me to believe that Christ loves me. He loves me no matter what I do in my life, that love is unconditional. Now, granted, having unconditional love is not the same thing, as I said, as having no boundaries. Because as we apply this in our life, that is going to be very important. Christ has made it very clear that it is important for us to follow commandments, and it is important for us to live certain ways in our life if we want to qualify for certain blessings. He makes that very clear in his scriptures. But his love for us, his support of us, his desire to be with us, that is absolutely unconditional. He will always love us. He died for us and suffered for us so that he could understand us, so that he could succor us, he could comfort us, and he could be with us. This is the kind of thing that over the past few years, as I have studied, I have come to realize that he did that for me. As totally imperfect and flawed as I am, Christ was willing to do that for me. This perfect being was willing to die and suffer for my sins and my weakness, my pains, my imperfections, so that he knew how to comfort me. And the beauty that it's not just about my sins, but that everything to do with my rape and abuse, Christ perfectly understands. Christ perfectly can empathize with me because he has felt that way too through his suffering in the garden and his atonement. And because he knows perfectly and has overcome, he can perfectly help me to also overcome. This, friends, is my hope. This is where I have found the biggest hope in my life and why I want to share it. And again, if you're not Christian, this is still possible for you. I can only share what I know. So that's why I'm talking about what I know. But for you, just believing that there is a higher power that loves you infinitely and wants the best for you, wants you to have a good life, wants you to be happy, to be the best version of yourself, that is a belief worth holding on to. And that is something that gives me hope every single day. It's also something that gives me strength to overcome challenges, because if somebody is critical or somebody says something, their words are the words of another imperfect person just like me. And if the most powerful being in the universe can see my value and my worth, not just in spite of my flaws, but loving me, including my flaws, while helping me perfect those things, then what does the judgment and criticism of others even matter? No, don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to say I'm impervious to every mean comment and that it just bounces right off me. Like, that's not true. It still hurts. It still hurts, and it still makes me have to go back and reflect and relearn these things every time. It's a process and it's a journey, and I'm definitely not bulletproof and not perfect at these strategies and techniques. I have to remind myself daily through prayer and through studying my scriptures, through affirmations, through reading literature and material that uplifts and builds me as a person, that's the kind of stuff that if I don't do, it is so easy for me to fall into despair because I forget how much I'm loved. I forget my value. I forget the control that I have over myself, and that even when the storm is raging, the world is going crazy around me, I can find peace inside the boat. Have you ever heard that quote about a boat and the water all around it can be tossing and turning, but it's not until the boat lets the water in that it starts to sink? We don't have to give power to the craziness of the world around us. And I know that coming out of abuse, that feels impossible almost, because somebody literally just forced you to do something and you don't feel like you have power. But you do. You really do. And discovering that, it will change your life. Discovering how powerful you are, that will change your life. You have the power to change your life. It's not anybody else's decision. It's not anybody else's. Even if it felt like it was in the past, they don't get to control your future. That is up to you. And I promise you that no matter how hard the struggle is, the journey is worth it. The journey from victim to survivor to thriver is worth every ounce of pain and energy it will take to get there. I know that. And there are some days I slip from thriver back to survivor because it just is too heavy and I have to give it over to Christ those days because I can't carry it alone. But knowing that He's there and will always be there and will always love me, even when I struggle or can't get out of bed or have days where I just feel like I need to cry all day or sit in the shower for an hour, I know that my value as a person isn't gone, isn't just tied to the cleanliness of my home or the state of my appearance, because some days it's a hot mess, right? We all are. That's not where my value as a person comes from. That's not where my value as a wife or a mother comes from. It doesn't come from me cooking and cleaning and having everything appear to be perfect, because let's be real, actual perfection is not possible. So striving for the appearance of it, I think, is where so many people feel their value, and the days where they slip, they just lose that. They lose that confidence. And if you can tie your value to just the fact that you are a human person who is loved of God, you can learn to love yourself, and your value won't be as easily damaged by those things and those comments and those criticisms and those days that you fall and you just need a minute or a day before you can pick yourself back up. Sometimes having that time to cry and process and work through and be sad, sometimes those days are important, and it's okay to take them. Your value is still there. You are still loved. You are still powerful and awesome. I know it. God knows it. I hope you know it too. That was the first step for me, for really getting to the place where I could say that I loved myself and saw value in myself as a person, not tied to anything else, not tied to anything that I do, not tied to things that I say, but tied to just my value as a person and as a being and as a child of God. The fact that I am loved of God, the fact that He sent me here with a purpose, whether I feel like I am fulfilling that purpose daily or not, He still loves me. It does feel good to feel like you're making a difference and to feel like you're doing the things you were sent to this earth to do. Those two feel good. But you can still love yourself and feel good about yourself even on days when you can't seem to muster the strength. It's okay. You're still loved. You're still here. Keep fighting. Keep moving forward. Better days are ahead. You are loved infinitely, deeply, unconditionally, unfathomably loved by the most powerful being in the universe. Believe that with everything you are. If you need to say positive affirmations every single day to believe it, if you need to read scriptures, if you need to read quotes and books and be around people who express that to you, do it. Whatever it takes to believe that. That for me was one of the biggest helpers, and I wish I could say I had discovered that 12 years ago, but I didn't. It's only been maybe 2.5 years that I really started on this journey of figuring out who it was I believed in, who was Christ, what were His attributes. And when I discovered how deeply He could love these other people, it dawned on me how important it was I believe He loved me too. Knowing you are loved of God is the most important thing you can learn. That is one of the things I absolutely believe. So I send you this hope and prayer that you can learn that, because your hope being tied to something that's unconditional, something that the world and the chaos can't touch, that's invaluable. And that is something worth fighting for and worth holding on to. So that is my lesson of hope for this week. I hope it was helpful for you, and I will see you again next week. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please subscribe and like and comment if you want. Share this video if it was helpful. Love you guys. See you next week. Bye.